How many of you know this place? Raise your hand. For those who don't know, it is located on the outer ring road, closer to Marathalli. It's a Kannada word. If I split this word into three parts, Kadu, it's a forest or jungle. Bisa, it's breeze or wind, and Halli, it's a village. In short, it's a dense forest village, long back. Now it's an IT hub. But again, the name has its relevance today also. Ask me how.
How?
Earlier it was forest of trees. Now it's a forest of concrete structures.
Wow.
Let us not disturb the flow of natural flow of today's meeting with our mobile ringtones. Put them on silent mode. If you wish to step out or step in, do so when you hear an applause. Kindly refrain speaking on sensitive topics such as sex, politics, and religion. I have a special person with me who is a nature-loving person, and she has used very less chemicals, almost none in her daily life. For an example, I use Lysol to clean the floor. Does anyone use any other liquid which is not chemically?
Water.
That's a great answer. That's the answer for the today. And you know, she has created her own liquid. She take the lemon extract into the water, and then she add jaggery and mix it very well. Lemon jaggery water mix. And she creates a bioenzymes which will help to clean the floor. Isn't it amazing? The second one, the most surprisingly for me, how differently she washed her clothes. So does anyone have a natural method of washing clothes? Any natural detergent which she has used? It was for the first time I got to know. Any guesses? What is that natural detergent or natural soap called? It's Rita. Rita. Okay. We are living in generation Z, but her thinking and lifestyle is from generation X. She replicates her grandmother lifestyle to save our Mother Earth. Let us welcome the nature-loving girl as well as the president of our club, Toastmaster Anil Kaur, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Imtiaz, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, members and dear guests.
Good evening.
How are you all doing today?
Okay. First class.
Okay or great?
Great.
The weather is great, right? So, isn't it?
Yes.
Bangalore in its pristine form. Alright. So today, I'll just go ahead and open meeting number 1530. Before we move further, I would like to call our Secretary Toastmaster Abhinav to read out the previous minutes of meeting. Give him a big round of applause.
Good evening, my dear Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening,
Thank you, Rasi. Last week's meeting was really beautiful. It made us introspect to our evaluations with our teachers. The theme of the meeting was the feedback loop. The word of the day was reflective, something involving deep thought or concentration. Instead of the regular speech and table topic section, we had two interesting sections. The first one being an education session hosted by DTM Vijay Anand. The second section being hosted by the election chair, Toastmaster Chaitra Chandapillai for the upcoming term, and the elected income committee for the upcoming term are as follows, with the Sergeant at Arms being Toastmaster Alagamai, the Treasurer being Toastmaster Shivangi Pradeep Padmanabhan, the Secretary being Toastmaster Tejas Kumar, the Vice President Public Relations being Toastmaster Abhinav Shastri. The Vice President membership being Toastmaster Shivangi Bhatt, the Vice President Education being Toastmaster Siddhanshu Ratan Shetty, and the President being Toastmaster Srinivas V. The election went really beautifully and hosted by our immediate past President, and with that I just hand it back to our current President.
Members, are there any changes? I pass minutes of meeting. I can see a few new faces in the crowd. May I request all the guests to please rise. Wow, so many of you. Thank you so much for joining on this lovely evening. I hope you enjoyed today's meeting, which is to be born, to go back and bond with nature. Thank you, everyone. Now, members, how do we welcome our guests? Thank you. Please take your seats. Once upon a time, a poor woman lived in a village with her daughter, Cheluri. When the daughter grew up, she went to her mother and said, "Mother, you have worked really hard. I want to help you now." The mother looked at her and asked, "How can you help me, my child?" The daughter told her that I can turn into a flowering tree. You can pluck the flowers from that tree and you can sell them for good money. She explained the entire process to her mother. Then she went and got 2 matkas filled with water. She sat in a veranda. Her mother poured the first matka on her, and immediately the girl turned into a beautiful flowering tree. The tree was filled with extraordinarily beautiful flowers which were extremely fragrant. The mother carefully plucked each flowers from the tree. She filled one basket, and after that she picked up the second matka and poured the water on the tree, and the tree turned back to her daughter. They both were extremely happy to see the flowers. The mother took the flowers to the king's palace. The king saw the flowers and he had not seen such extraordinarily beautiful and fragrant flowers. He bought them and gave the woman a lot of money. Woman came back and this process followed for many days. The king kept buying the flowers each day. Over this time, the king became really curious. Where are these flowers coming from? They don't see something that belongs to this world. One day, king followed the woman and he secretly saw the entire process. He got extremely fascinated and fell in love with Cherubim. He asked for her hand from her mother, and they both got married. After marriage, the king asked Cherubim, his wife, to turn into the flowering tree. Cherubim looked at him in surprise. He confessed that he had secretly seen the entire process. Cherubim agreed and told him extremely careful while plucking flowers and not to hurt the tree. The king followed the instructions, and every day they followed the same ritual, and they started living around those fragrant flowers and lived happily. But one day, the king's sister was visiting the palace. She became really curious about the fragrance coming from the king's room. She secretly watched the entire process. Next day, she went to her sister-in-law, Cherubi, and asked her to join her and her friends to the playground to have some fun. Cherubi joined them and they all went to the king's orchard. They played for a little while, and after that, the king's sister asked Cherubi to turn into the flowering tree. Cherubi was extremely reluctant, but finally, after a lot of persuasion, she gave in. The king's sister brought 2 matkas of water. She poured 1 matka. Cherubi turned into a beautiful tree, which she and her friends had never seen. They very carelessly started cutting all the flowers, and in the process, they broke many twigs, they broke many stems, the branches, and tore all the leaves. Carelessly, she picked the second matka and poured on tree. Cherubi came back to life, but she had no arms and no legs. Seeing that, the king's sister ran away with her friends. At the palace, when king came back, he didn't find his wife. He got worried. He started searching for her and finally found her in an extremely dilapidated state in the orchard. Somehow, Cherubi explained to him what had happened. King asked her, "How can I heal you back?" Cherubi told her once again to get 2 matkas of water. King brought those, and Cherubi instructed him to turn, when she is turned into the tree, carefully tend to each branch, each leaf, and each twig, and fix it with tender and care. King followed her instructions. He spent the entire night and day fixing the tree. Once he was satisfied, he poured the water from the other matka, and Cherubi came back to life. She got her arms and legs, but she had a lot of bruises and scars on her body. The king gently picked Cherubi and took her to his palace. He took care of her, and after many months of taking care, Cherubi recovered fully, and they lived happily ever after. So the story has many parallels between the health of nature and the health of humanity, or in fact all living beings on earth. It reminds us that the nature's health is extremely important for our health and prosperity. I remember 10 meetings back, or 10 weeks back, meeting number 1520, we had a table topic master who came up with innovative and extremely interesting table topics on environment and sustainability. And our members enthusiastically participated and shared their views and concerns. This member not only enjoys conducting table topics, but he also enjoys taking care of nature. He has grown 30 trees in and around his house, and takes care of over 250 plants on a daily basis. He also, if you want to know more, you can see his Insta handle where he puts the pictures of the blossomed trees. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the dynamic nature lover, the cool bro of our club, Toastmaster Karunakar.
Whoa, that was overwhelming. Thank you for the lovely introduction of this. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am in sales, and like many salespeople, I have a very simple philosophy. If it is not helping me achieve my target, not getting the commissions, not paying my bills, it is not going to interest me at all. I was very transactional at the early stage of my career. My first job into sales was with an organization named Image Creative Education. Now it is an institute that teaches game design, graphic design, interior design and related study stuff. Now I was working under a franchisee. It was owned and managed by my boss, Ravi Chandra. And he also resembled like that to Ravi Chandra. Now, when I was working with them, it was a very small institute, very modest setup all around, hardly a few students, and I was working really hard, but it wasn't impacting the business at that point in time. Everything was clear, but I did not understand one thing about it, all of it. Ravi drove a Fortuner. His father drove a Land Rover. And I thought, clearly, with this setup, I'm sure this is not paying the bills, which is actually managing these cars. And for the people living in Bangalore, if you drive a car like a Range Rover or even Land Cruiser, it is not just a mere car, it's a financial statement. I had this question in my mind all around. Slowly and steadily, as the business grew, as my sales improved, my boss Ravi revealed that secret to me. That it is not because of this tiny business that you see. I am earning money and my family is earning money by gardening and landscaping. When I am toiling hard day in and day out, trying to bring in some revenue, he was busy creating gardens around Bangalore and Hyderabad airport, and much more hotels around the city. And as the revenue grew, as I said, our relationship also grew. He took me to those plantations, and I fell in love with the whole process. Earlier, I knew only two things. You have indoor plants and outdoor plants. And if I get any plant to take care of, it would naturally become an outdoor plant. It was a life-changing moment to see a small tiny object into a soil grow into a charismatic plant altogether. And that is why I even tell people like Kamlesh and Guru, don't take your kids to watch magic shows by paying thousands and thousands of rupees. Teach them to plant a seed and they will see the magic happening or the magic of life happening in front of them. That is far, far more impactful. And slowly and steadily, I've also seen people celebrating every single leaf, every new leaf when you are a plant lover, right? So that is a part of making sure that we have magic in front of our eyes. Something similar happened with our life as well. We all see magic happening in front of us. A new Toastmaster will not realize, but when you sit at the back, when you observe a fellow Toastmaster grow in 3-6 months of time, you would actually see how much of magic goes around in improving a Toastmaster. And that foundation was led by a Toastmaster or the founding father, Rao Matthew. It was founded on 22nd of October 1924 in Santa Ana, California. And today we have over 300,000 members in over 150 countries by 14,000 plus clubs around the world. right? And we see a lot of guests coming here for the first time as well. A typical Toastmasters meeting has three distinct parts or three distinct process. One, we have a prepared speech section, and then we have something called a table topic section, and then evaluation. Now in prepared speech, every speaker would have given a specific time that they need to come up and prepare and present their speech. Could be 5 to 7 minutes, could be a bit more if you're in your advanced path. And then table topics is an impromptu session. Anybody can be called up from the audience and given 2 minutes of time to speak on any random topic. And the entire process goes through an evaluation as well. Every single thing that you do is being evaluated. And as the general evaluator, we have a very senior Toastmaster among us. I'm anyway going to give a brief introduction later, but he is Toastmaster Chandra. And in his role, he will also have the support of 3 people. We have timer, counter, and grammarian. And as a timer today, we have a Toastmaster, Nimisha. She's a very new Toastmaster. She works with Accenture into strategy and consulting role. Can we have the guideline from you, Toastmaster Nimisha?
Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests.
Good evening.
Earth follows music and rhythm for those who are willing to listen. On the theme of following nature today, I want us all to appreciate that nature follows a very specific rhythm. The day breaks and fades away. The tides rise and fall every single day. As a timer today, I will help each speaker find their rhythm throughout their speeches. At the end of the minimum assigned time, I will show a green card. When you have only 1 minute left, I will show a yellow card. And at the end of the assigned time, I will show a red card. For table topics, I will show a red card at the end of the assigned time. I will present my report at the end of the meeting. With that, back to Toastmaster Karnataka.
And as the outcome today, we have a new Toastmaster. He is from LP and he is transitioning into a different role right now. He used to work in sales, but looking at career opportunity at the founder office. Can we have the right hand from Toastmaster Chance?
So thank you, Toastmaster Karnataka. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
It was a pleasure to serving as an R-counter today. My role is to track the filler words like and also overuse words like so, but, well, and any repeated phrases. Also, remember, filler words are often appear when we are thinking on the feet. So, the antidote for it is and confident pause rather than using the filler words. I will be giving my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
And as a grammarian, we have our own Dr. Salunke from CID. She is studying forensic science, master in forensic science from Christ University. Can we have Toastmaster Shreya read out the guideline?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, thank you. So, as a grammarian, I am responsible to introduce the word of the day, which is symbiotic. The meaning is involving mutual benefits between different people. Usage can be the speaker and the audience shares a symbiotic relationship, where the crowd's energy fuels the speaker's confidence and the speaker's passion inspires the crowd. I will be noting down the good usage and not so good usages. And if you use the word of the day, you won't be getting chocolate, but even more sweeter. You know what that is? A smiley. So if you want to smile, do use the word of the day. Over to you.
The from persuasive influence path. And to evaluate this speaker, we have a Toastmaster who is a banker for 20 years to evaluate the speech. And his big desire in life is to travel every single district in India. Can we have the right hand from Toastmaster Devashish, please?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Today, the speaker is attempting Level 1, Project 1 under persuasive influence. It's an icebreaker speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of the public speaking. All the best to the speaker.
Now, generally, for any speaker, I would have a structured introduction covering their love life, their layoff, their career growth. But it is the very first time you would hear a person speak, so it's important for that person to speak out what they feel and how they feel. Can we have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster and Naveen, who's presenting
Does anyone know when was the first Star Wars movie released?
1970.
Any idea? 70s.
1979.
Right. It was released in May 25th, 1977. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished Toastmaster and welcome guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
On the exact same year, on the other side of the globe, a boy was born in a middle class family. Born after 3 girls, I was pampered like a prince. My father was an industrial engineer by profession and artist by passion. He was a singer. He was an announcer at All India Radio, theatre director, and a national award-winning actor. He was so busy with his passion that I was lucky to see him once in a week. We stayed in a very spacious and comfortable company quarters. One evening, I was going back home and suddenly saw a massive crowd has gathered in front of my house. I somehow managed to get in and saw my family in tears. We had just received the message that my father has met with a massive heart attack and he is no more. But seeing the crowd, more than 10,000 people were gathered just to see him one last time. Volume spoke about the love and respect he has earned in his lifetime. In school, I was a very shy introvert and average at studies. In 6th standard, I entered a drawing competition, not to showcase the inner Picasso, but just to skip a boring social studies class. Luckily, I won a consolation prize. The tiny spark drove and made me to practice hard. The beauty of the nature inspired me to become an artist. By 10th standard, I had won more than 45 awards in district, national and international level. My teacher, the Sanskrit teacher, suggested me, why don't you join Fine Arts College at Davangere? My mother strongly opposed. She said, my family is filled with doctors and engineers. And I can't let you make your career in painting signboards on the streets. But I was determined. I joined the same college in the age of 16. Looking at the financial status of my family, I never asked my mom for my monthly expenditure. Rather, I did freelance and I earned and learned and completed my studies. I also stayed in a community economic hostel. Back at home, my mom managed to make marriage of all my 3 sisters. One day, I got to know about National Institute of Design Ahmedabad from a stranger at public telephone booth, 1 rupee coin booth. Then I applied and I failed in the first attempt. Second year, I applied with intense preparation and I got through. Life at NID was very challenging and fun. From there, I traveled back to Bangalore, worked in various companies, and now I work as a senior lead designer at Tata Elxsi. 18 years back, I'm married and have a beautiful daughter who's studying in 11th grade. My mother's support was always there. My mother's support was always there until she passed away in the second wave of COVID-19. Life takes away, but also gives back. It took away my father, but gave mother's resilience, a teacher's guidance, and a mindset to take up whatever you like. Today, I am here in front of all fellow Toastmasters to begin a new journey. Thank you so much.
Award of presentation, 45 awards. People like Ankit will have 45 live straight at me. Okay, put your hands up again for him before the speech. The second speaker today that we have is attempting the first project from level 2 of engaging human art. And to read out the guidelines, we have a Toastmaster who is a fantastic speaker, a master elocutionist, and somebody who works with Google. And we have Toastmaster, you will read out the guidelines, please.
The purpose of this speech is for the member to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor. The part is with engaging humor, and the speech title is Surprise.
Thank you. Now, this speaker is our internal Amdari Udari. He is an informer of Bangalore Metro. We got to know about the delay of walking and coaches arrival in the yellow line because of him. We were ready to be sharing more money as the price sign was to be announced of Bangalore Metro. We got to know from him. People aspire to be an engineer and a lawyer, he is both. Let's welcome the second speaker with a speech title, Yay! Toastmaster Viresh! Put your hands up for him.
One word. One word is all it took to manage my kid, my wife, and a biker coming at me from the wrong side of the road, all at the same time. You want to know that word? Yay! Driving through the city is an adventure in itself. I think you all agree to it. The other day, I was driving my car through the busy lanes of market with my family. My kid, Aditya, 5-year-old, was sitting right next to me, was pestering me. You know how these kids are, they are so loud when they talk. So he was like, Appa, how is my paper rocket? Swish, it came in front of me. And my wife, from behind, she was asking me about my career. She was more worried about my career than myself. Usually these career-related questions happen at offices with HR department. But my wife was like, dear, what do you want to do in life? What is your next career move? As if this traffic and this was not enough, I had a stranger coming towards me from the opposite side of the road. 3 problems, 3 audiences, and blank mind. So, out of frustration, I just shouted, Yay! Yay! The magic of it was everybody responded. The biker felt I was shouting and yelling at him, so he moved aside. My kid felt I was cheering for him, so he was happy. My wife, she likes to hear what she wants to like to hear. So she heard it as AI. She thought I'm finally moving in the direction of artificial intelligence. 3 problems, 1 word, all solved. Friends, that's not laziness. That is efficiency, in my opinion. Now, speaking about efficiency, I moved 100 meters ahead, stopped at a traffic signal, pretending to check my WhatsApp, but I was also scanning the billboards in front of me. One of the billboards caught my attention. It totally read, Santosh Taylor, specialist in alteration of gents to ladies. Shreya, since I was not a grammarian like you that day, I took it in its literal sense. Right? So I started imagining, wow, what a multi-specialist this guy is. Not only can he alter your clothes, he can alter the gender too. Tailors and then I started imagining, maybe he's actually a surgeon who took tailoring classes during his free time. After all, both the professions use the same tool, scissors. One to alter your clothes, and the other to alter your life.
Family jewels.
Now, what a package deal he can offer. You walk in with a loose fitting shirt as a man, and you walk out with a perfectly fitting dress as a woman. What about his Google reviews? If I were his customer, not that I want to be, but if I were, because we're imagining, I would write like this: very professional, dress fits perfectly, my voice became sweeter, like a lady. Even ChatGPT 100 version will not be able to replace this guy. Friends, we need some humor, we need some imagination to survive this traffic, which is full of potholes, heat, rain, and sometimes it becomes dizzyingly unbearable. Just then, a sound from far away. Tino, Tino, Tino. An ambulance out of nowhere came and stood right next to me. I was frightened, I was shocked. I again shouted, "Yay!" Even the patient inside the ambulance leaned towards me and was sympathetic at me. My wife from behind was shouting at me, "You look worse than the patient inside the ambulance. You better be in the ambulance." I drive back the car home. Friends, life in a metro is not for the beginners. It's not easy. You got multi-talented tailors like this. You got a biker coming at you from the wrong side of the road, and you got so many other problems. But I learned one thing, sir. If you can manage this stress of traffic and still be successful, then you can survive anywhere. Friends, when life becomes too overwhelming for you, for example, your boss is calling you at odd times, or your spouse is questioning you again and again unnecessarily, or for this matter, a biker is coming at you from the wrong side of the road, don't overthink. Don't panic. Just do what I did. In fact, let's all do it together. When I raise my hands, you'll all shout "Yay" and wait it out. Alright? Ready?
Yay!
Yay!
No matter what the situation was, his wife was already screaming at him. Alright. Moving on, we have the final speaker presenting second speech from the presentation mastery part. And to evaluate his speech, we have a distinguished Toastmaster among us, who has been a past president of our club. And a lot of new members would not know, he received a national award as a role model for empowerment of persons with disability from the Honorable President of India, Pranab Mukherjee 2013. Toastmaster Ravi Manwani, can we have the guideline for this speech, please? We have Kamlesh hearing on his behalf.
Yeah, good evening everyone. The purpose of the speech is to deliver and persuade an original, impactful message that educate, motivates and inspire the audience. Timer, please note the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker. Thank you.
Okay. Now, this speaker lived in Bangalore in the past. He had moved to Ranchi. He loved nature. He wanted to live in the land of nature. He told me once upon a time, you know, Karunakar, it is easy to grow grass on ground than growing hair on my head. This speaker has won district level speech contest and table topic contest as well. And this speaker has also served the committee as VP Education in the past. He is coming up here as a guest speaker with his speech titled ABC. ABC. Toastmaster Ankit, put your hands up for him.
July 2018, India's biggest education technology company hired me as a salesperson.
Oh.
I cannot name the company, but the owner would always buy juice for the top performers. First day at office, my manager, Mr. Joshi, called me into his cabin. He said, "Ankit, everything is fair in love, war and sales. Just follow A, B, C. Always be closing. The more you like, the more you sell. First create some fear and then sell hope." That formula gave me springs under my feet and wings on my shoulders. Like a spider, I spun a web of lies and made my first sale within 3 days. My 10th sale within a week, and month end, I was awarded as the best salesperson. I hung the award on the brightest wall of my house. 6 months in the game, and I was visiting a potential customer in the slums. It was Lakshmi, a 10th grade government school student whose father was a small-time auto driver. Her house was so small and the ceiling so low, we could hear each other breathing.
It started raining outside and dripping inside. It had a filthy smell of poverty. But Lakshmi wanted to become a doctor, and I found an opportunity. Because Indian parents don't mind living in a 100 square feet house, but they can do anything for their child's education. Raise your hand if you agree. My potential customers. A loving father, a hopeful child, and a hungry salesman is equal to sales. I knew my product was useless for Lakshmi, but I was on mission A, B, C. Always be closing. I said, forget medicals. Lakshmi will fail in 10th board if you don't buy this. Fear in Lakshmi's eyes. But don't worry, Lakshmi. This can help you excel in the boards and all the medical exams. How would you feel then, Dr. Lakshmi? Poverty makes a man naive because the poor father instantly bought false hope. My sales pitch took more than 7 minutes 30 seconds, but I ignored all the red flags. He did not had the 3 lakhs for the product at that time, so I sold him the loan facility and sale was locked. More innocent parents fell for my trap. And for my happiness, my company also sent me on frequent Bangkok trips. Oh. Karnataka looks very happy. I hope your Bangkok trip had a very happy ending. Almost 1 year had passed, and I had completely forgotten Lakshmi. But one fine day, I was visiting the same locality for another hunt. Everything was same, but Lakshmi's house was abandoned. The wooden door was completely broken, weeds had grown up the walls, and the house looked forgotten. Excuse me, where did they go? I asked a passerby. She said, oh, Lakshmi's parents had taken some loan from the bank and they could not pay it back. 3 months back, 2 men from the bank came and took away their auto. The family was very distressed. They also asked the neighbors for some money. But who helps the poor? One fine day, they just disappeared. Did she mention loan? I felt breathless. My rapid heartbeats made me uneasy, so I cancelled my next appointment, went back home, explained to my father what I did with Lakshmi's family. Papa, everything is fair in sales, right? Papa said, wait here. It was Lakshmi's clean life. You polluted it completely with your hazardous lie. This award fills my house with shame. Because to decorate this wall, you destroyed someone's home. What if somebody does the same with your own little sister? Papa left in disgust, and I was reduced to tears, with Lakshmi's face haunting me night after night until it became unbearable. So after 14 days, I went to Mr. Joshi and said, sir, I cannot lie anymore. Ankit, A, B, C, always be closing and block everyone who misleads you. So I took my phone and I blocked Mr. Joshi. I resigned. But it was impossible to find Lakshmi because her father's number is forever switched off and I stand here in guilt. Friends, I have realized that polluting someone's life with your own selfish motive or a lie can add layers of darkness into your own future. Today, as you know, the big edtech company has filed for bankruptcy and the owner is fighting different legal battles in the court. And Mr. Joshi's career has been in struggle. While there are some white, small, harmless lies, like telling your spouse you look beautiful every time you wake up in the morning, or telling your manager we are like family, or telling a bad speaker in Toastmasters you did fantastic. But some situations tempt you to manipulate somebody innocent. In those exact situations, take a step back and you will hear your heart screaming A, B, C. Always be clean. Ooh. Always be clean in your conscience, your character. soon you'll realize that a life free from lies and deceit keeps your soul clean.
What a powerful message. We all understand it is very, very important to sell in the right manner. Because if people want to have a thriving career in sales, you should sell something right. And if you sell something right, you will have a sense of belonging. And only once you have a sense of belonging for that organization, you can present your organization in a right manner. Put your hands up once again for Ankit or a lovely I have been given the voting code for the speeches here. The code is 5626. 5626. Voting only once is allowed. And we break for 5 minutes, but when we come back, we'll have an all exciting table topics and all important evaluation. Break time. Thank you.
Topics now. How many guests haven't seen table topics happen so far? Is there anybody who hasn't seen table topics at all? Note down their names. Lovely. Now, as the table topic master, we have a Toastmaster who is with RGL for 4 years. He works in an embedded software technology company which makes smart devices. He's been in community twice. Let's give it up for Toastmaster Jivan, the table topic master. Put your hands up for him.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. That was a impromptu speech. Okay, so before we begin this magical session, why is it called magical session? Because anyone? Yay. Okay, the person sitting next to you will, he might be sitting silently, but in a moment he'll be a poet or a philosopher or anything, the stand-up comedian or many hats they'll don. So it's the beauty of this session. So for the benefits of guests, what am I doing here and what is the purpose of this segment? So I am here to give topics. That's it, the plain game. So my responsibility is to bring people who have not taken any role on the stage and make them speak. And their responsibility is to speak, and the audience responsibility is to clap. That's it. How will this help? I think all Toastmasters know that it is an impromptu session. It is called because it helps you to improve your impromptu speeches on the spot. It helps your thinking basically. So let's start this magical session. I think what is very awkward is this mic, new mic. Stand a bit back. Okay. Now, everyone is able to hear me? Yes. Okay, that's great. The first topic. Okay. If Bangalore had an official tree, what should it be and why? If Bangalore had an official tree, what should it be and why? To take on this, we have Toastmaster Chandrasekhar. Let's give it
Bangalore is a beautiful city. You all agree?
No.
Yes. One disagreement. Have you seen the flowers in the month of March?
Yes.
In the month of spring, I think as you go driving in Bangalore or even walking, you saw those beautiful trees with those pink flowers.
Yeah.
They're very enchanting. And if someone just shows you a WhatsApp forward, you might think that it's a European country. But fortunately, it's Bangalore. And that's, I don't know the name of that tree, those flowers, but I think those are very beautiful. And I really enjoy, I think most of you all might be doing. So I think that's the official tree of Bangalore. But yeah, I don't know the name.
Sharing.
That's the
Sharing.
I think it only blossomed during the COVID session, I guess. Right? Okay, moving on to the next topic. If humanity suddenly went offline, how different your life would be? If humanity suddenly went offline, how different your life would be? So we have Punit, Toastmaster Punit.
It's a scary world we live in. If suddenly everything goes offline or blackout, you know you're in trouble. You know, in Basambudi, there is this place called Bugle Rock Park. It's a massive rock on top of which there's a massive bell. And the tradition was at 3 p.m. every day, somebody from the kingdom would go and ring the bell. And for the rest of the villages, it would mean everything is at peace. And at any time, it would be rung on an off time, it would mean there is trouble or the king has died. When there's a blackout, when everything goes offline, it's like ringing of that bell at an odd time. Everywhere where we are in a state of war, there has been a blackout, including our own country. When the Seven Sisters were under unrest, there was a blackout for days. When Kashmir issues happened, there was a blackout. Today, Iran, Israel, you see multiple pockets of blackout happening. To a point that countries are fighting back with the FANG, that is Facebook, Amazon, and all of that, Netflix, that you can't have a switch that decides whether we access the world. You can't have a switch that decides whether we have a voice or not. So if we all go offline, that probably means we are in deep trouble. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I missed out one important part. So it has the timings. So it's like from 60 seconds to 90 minutes. So we have seconds.
I will black out.
No, you have switch off my some switch. Ring the bell. Okay, 60 seconds, the timer will show the yellow card, and 90 seconds, the timer will show the red card. The speaker will have 15 seconds of grace time. I'm asking everyone to wrap up your speech within that and leave the stage so that the next speaker can benefit with the time. Okay, let's move on with the third speech. Okay, I was reading about the same thing. Sorry about that. Which animal best describes your Friday evening self? Which animal best describes your Friday evening self? To take on this, we have Toastmaster Suraj Ram.
What is the laziest mammal on the earth?
Sloth.
Sloths and koalas, tortoises. Tortoise is not lazy, but I consider it a little lazy. So the type of animal that I would be on a Friday evening would be a sloth, because I like to sleep early and wake up late on Saturday morning. And sloths, they do their tasks very slowly. So on Friday, I don't like to do any of my tasks. I tend to do it on the next day. And on Saturday, I am, as I said, a polar bear. I postpone it to Sunday. And from Monday, I'm back on my track. I do all the tasks on the time. And that is the type of animal that I would portray myself on a Friday.
So basically, you are here doesn't mean that you are some product in, so it doesn't qualify to US law. Okay, moving on. Next, I guess the fourth speaker. Okay. Nature never argues, it always wins. What's your take on it? Nature never argues, it always wins. What's your take on it? Toastmaster Alan DeSalvo.
What happens when you go against nature? What happens when I'm sorry, you called my name wrong.
Nature never argues, it always wins. What's your take on it?
Always swing.
Wins.
Nature never argues, it always wins. This I've experienced after marriage. Because sometimes you need to understand the nature of individuals that you're dealing with, right? Many times when you look at growing up, you are taught that, people used to say, if you're very silent, you're very obedient, and you listen well, you are conforming to the rules. After you get married, you realize that silence can mean many other things. It can mean annoyance, it can mean a lot of signals that unfortunately men don't get, right? Men are known to be very bad with non-verbal cues, and I don't know why most of the time women tend to give cues in silence, right? So yes, I completely agree with the topic given to me. And today, even though I was called Alan D'Souza, which is very much against my nature, back to the...
Okay, I don't know, I don't have anything to say. Not for his name, for his take on the topic. Okay, let's go. Move on. What's one childhood dream that still lives in you today? What's one childhood dream that still lives in you today? To take on this, we have Toastmaster Tirumalesh. What's one childhood dream that still lives in you today?
I guess as in a childhood, right, every person will be having many dreams they want to achieve. Like whenever I see flights, I wanted to become a pilot, and whenever I see doctors, I don't want to become a doctor. I mean, like whenever my parents used to take to doctors and seeing all those syringes, all those things. So that is one of the case. And many things I wanted to become pilot and scientist, all those things. But unfortunately, I was not good at. Instead of saying I was not good at, I was not interested at mathematics, all those things. But somewhat I got into engineering, and becoming engineering was one of my dreams. So today I become an engineer. So it was one of my dreams. But nowadays when I see all these pilots, all those things, still I have that dream of becoming pilots and being more professional in that career. So, but life will take us into many situations that we have to become whatever the destiny it has written. So, but anyway, like I have become an engineer, so that is what I wanted to become. So, that's my take on this.
I think most of the Bangalore is following your dream. Okay, People travel to celebrate Environment Day. Does the irony bother you? People travel to celebrate Environment Day. Does the irony bother you? Toastmaster Priyanka.
Does the irony bother me? Definitely not. Because I believe that I think everybody are well aware about environment and from where they've come from. At least I believe so. So keeping that in mind, everybody decide what they want to do and how they want to serve the environment or what they want to do in life based on what is being fed to them from the time that they have grown. And me being a person that has always grown around, fortunately, my grandmother's house had a lot of plants and a huge garden where I spent a lot of time, where a lot of our get-togethers, gatherings, that is what I remember about environment. Because environment is not only about plants, it is about the kind of nurturing that your elders have done to you and what they have taught you, how you're going to carry that forward. And I feel a little fortunate that I've got that opportunity where I got to spend time with all my cousins, all my aunts, a big family, always celebrating everything together. That is something that stays with me. And I feel fortunate to meet people around who also celebrate that way. So I believe that most of us celebrate environment, nature, in the way that we have been nurtured. Over to you.
Priyanka goes to like Kabul Park, so that's why I think she doesn't believe in the irony and all those things. She literally has seen trees everywhere. Yeah. Okay, next one, silent speaker. Okay. Have you ever come up with a solution that surprised even you? Have you ever came up with a solution that surprised even you? To take on, we have Srinidhi Ankit Kumar. Anit.
So, have you ever came up with a solution that surprised even you?
Have you came up with a solution? Until date, certainly not. As my solution for my career itself has drastically changed. Right? So my ambition was to be a part of Isala Cup Namdu Part 2. That is to be in a team lifting the cup, but the solution didn't appear it to be due to the circumstances that I got into due to my stammering, which I broke the ice. The reason behind my career not taking up in cricket was it was due to the fear of speaking to people. What if I did the best performance and I could not face the people talking? That probably, if that was a solution for me, or when the Toastmasters had started back then, and if I was aware of Toastmasters then, probably I would have been say around 2 kilometers from here, that is at Chinnaswamy stage. Thank you so much.
So you got your wish, right? Isala Cup Namdu. Okay. Okay, what's a small act of kindness that still lingers in your memory? What's a small act of kindness that still lingers in your memory? Toastmaster Shashank.
This actually happened 2 weeks ago with me. I confidently was riding in my two-wheeler. I didn't realize that the petrol prices had gone up so much that the kilometers I travel every day
I miscalculated that, and in the middle of a busy main road, my two-wheeler came to a standstill. I looked around for help. I saw all of them just look at me and walk past. Not even one soul looked at me and asked what happened. I tried to see if there are petrol bunks around, checked my maps. No clue at all. Out of the blue, as if it was a God-sent person, someone actually stopped the bike, looked at me and asked, what happened, tire puncture? I said, no, fuel Kali. I never expected this, but he asked me to sit with him. We went to a petrol bunk which was around 1.5 kilometers away. He had a plastic bottle which he emptied. We used that plastic cup, the bottle. The petrol bunk guys stated issue saying we will not give it in plastic, but somehow he fought for me. He got this done. He made sure we had petrol in the water can. We came back, he dropped me back. We filled petrol, he made sure my bike started and he left. Would you do this to someone? May not. Would I have done this to someone? May not. I would have advised them where the nearest petrol bunk is. I would not have taken them there, helped fight the petrol bunk guys, and then made sure he drops me back and made sure the bike started. I never expected this. That's when I actually realized we all give gyan to others. But when it comes to doing it, implementing and helping others, are we that person whom we complain about others? I think that actually changed the way I thought. And that act of kindness actually changed me. And now I want to be that person who will do this to someone else.
So now I have a person whom I can call if my fear runs out. Okay. What's one thing that you own that your family thinks is absolutely useless? What's one thing you own that your family thinks is absolutely useless? Toastmaster Divya.
So what's one thing that I own that my family thinks is useless? Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
When I was a kid, I always had this urge to look at these colorful designs that would be there on the walls of different places. I would draw a lot. So I had this coloring book, and I would sit and make a lot of art out of that. And my dad, he would always be of the opinion that, hey, go sit and study, don't do all of this, and it's useless. Don't even have any of those art or craft things. And I mean, I would, like listen to it in one ear and then leave it on in the other, but I would still continue doing it. So there's been a instance where I also got to win a poster making competition at school, and I kept doing it in spite of my dad saying otherwise. My mom still encourages me. I still have some of the paintings at home, and some of them are on my wall. So all the places that I want to travel, of the paintings that I have at home, so some of them are just on my wall. So my parents would think that it is useless, but for me, it is priceless. So this is my
I think everyone would have gone through the same thing. In my case, I wished my mother would have used verbal cues rather than the hand gestures. Okay. So, if Garden City meets Silicon Valley, what arguments would they have? If Garden City meets Silicon Valley, what arguments would they have? DTM Vijay Anand.
The first thing God will say to Silicon Valley, are you out of your head? Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, yes, why do I say this? Garden City, we spoke about trees. Now, because of Silicon Valley, so many trees have been lost, right? And trees provide us oxygen. It's a no-brainer. But Silicon Valley, thanks to it, so many tech parks have come around, we lost trees. Lakes. Garden City had lakes. 400 lakes in and around Bangalore, 50 km radius from Bangalore.
today we have just about 80 lakes, and not even 20% are healthy, in good condition. And because of those lakes, they've built layouts, high-rise buildings. What has happened? 10 minutes rain in Bangalore, and the roads are flooded. They're all waiting to knee-deep water. I mean, I could go on and on. The heat. I remember as a kid in Bangalore, brought up here, we forget AC. We didn't have fans in summer. Nowadays, we didn't have fans. And now, thanks to Silicon Valley, with all its tech parks, lovely, glassy, glitzy buildings, so many air conditioners, every house has an AC. I fought with my wife and daughter, let's not install AC, but they won the battle, and I installed AC 2 years ago. I can go on and on. So friends, I think we have to get back to Garden City. With due respect, Silicon Valley, it produces jobs, the city is developed, Bangalore is on the world map, but let's go roll back the clock, and we need our Garden City back. Back to the
So then you would lose, your wife would lose the AC, right? Who is the one person from your childhood who shaped who you are today? Who is the one person from your childhood who shaped who you are today? To take on this, we have Toastmaster Likit Diko.
I think initially growing up, if there was one person who shaped me, that would be my grandfather. Because my grandfather, he's seen a lot in life. He was the eldest of all his younger brothers. And then my grandfather, his dad was like really rich. They had a lot of rice mills, coconut farms, everything. And then, but between the brothers, they all just fought. And I don't know what happened when the fights were happening. I was really small. But I do remember them shouting at each other. And he was someone who was really strict. He still somehow managed to have a lot of patience, and he would still, treat us, he would take care of us nice and everything. So yeah, I would say.
Okay, good that your grandfather took the role of shaping you, not your mother. Because I have like. Okay, what I meant is like my mother shaped me. That's why I have a scar in my forehead. I think generally everyone mothers have the same philosophy of shaping, but my mother went a little bit extra. Not boring. What's so you're happy? He's super excited today. Okay. What's one thing a plant has that most managers lack? What's one thing a plant has that most managers lack? Toastmaster Pradeep. Okay, discipline, maybe. He was a manager before. Okay. Next topic. Oh, okay. What's one thing the education system got completely wrong about preparing you for life? What's one thing the education system got completely wrong about preparing you for life? Toastmaster Chaitra.
I think this is a common experience that everyone has gone through. When you're in primary school, things are fine. Middle school also things are easy, right? But the moment you step into high school, you start hearing this word this phrase repeated over and over. Board exams, right? And parents, teachers, they all make sure that they fill you with dread because they feel that only if they are strict with you, will you actually put in the effort to learn? And somehow we've landed up with a system where exams matter so much, but whether we actually understand what we actually learned is a completely different question, right? Now I'm going to tell you something that I did for my 10th standard board exams. My second language was Hindi, and we had to write an essay for our board exams. It could be any topic, right, that we see on the paper. What do? I mug up a series of essays, and by chance one of those topics was there in the question paper, and I managed to have something to write. Till this day, I cannot speak Hindi very well. So yes, if you want to learn, it's best to actually understand rather than focus on board exams.
Chaitra, do they give time to understand? I never got.
Get married.
Maybe next year, sir, I will be going to that. Okay. Last one probably, right? Okay. No, I'm asking you. I'm not giving you the topic. What's the one thing nature does better than the technology ever will? What's the one thing nature does better than the technology ever will? Toastmaster Abhinav.
Quite frankly, starting to regret asking him for a space spot. What's the one thing that nature does better than technology ever will? I mean, if you go to ChatGPT, you will see the responses are not up to date. You can compare ChatGPT to your local library books, but nature has its unique way of showing how it's better than technology ever can be. I mean, we've been around for like what, 1 million years roughly, including all kinds of existence and evolution and whatnot. But nature has proven itself to be the winner, the teacher and the validator for any action that we do, and technology really does a scratch to what it does. So I feel like the nature is a superior set of the computer here, and the technology can never ever touch this, even though we become extremely advanced. Back to the
So just before I gave him the topic, he was so indulged with the technology, yet he gave a beautiful answer. That's what Toastmaster does to you all, like when you are coming here day in, day out. Yeah, that's it. I hope everyone enjoyed this session. And the stage back to our first impromptu speaker, E.M. Modi.
And now it is time for all important evaluation. Now we have a distinguished Toastmaster among us to the evaluation. This person works with Geosphere, building the next generation of open internet. It's a very cool browser at the GM and business side. And with Toastmaster, he was the past president of our club. He was also the past international director of Toastmasters International Board of Directors. He is also the recipient of presidential citation as well. So it's my great pleasure to have Toastmaster, Power Stirler, distinguished Toastmaster, Power Stirler at the General Director. Put your hand up for him.
They say small minds
discuss people. Average minds, they discuss events. But the great minds, they discuss the idea of better people in better events. And that is what this session is going to be all about. The evaluation session of Toastmaster is the heart of the Toastmaster, where the speakers and everybody who has participated get an opportunity to receive a constructive feedback. So today's meeting, number 1530, with the theme Bond with Nature, started 6:30 sharp. I can tell you, I walked into this club in 2008 and I have not seen many meetings running late. So kudos to every leadership role that people have taken here to make sure. And I'm sure some of your bosses forget to give you bonuses, but this meeting always starts on time, so just remember that. The first person comes Imtiaz. Imtiaz was very peppy. He was here, he was making sure that everybody is smiling. He had a loud good evening to start with. He talked about Kadu Basin Haldi. So what is Kadu and Kadu Basin Haldi? What is Basin? And Haldi? Job well done. So yeah, people have understood the Kadu Basin Haldi, but every time they pass, they will only have the cements, they will have the air pollution, the noise of not the village, but the tech villages which are around. So great job done, Imtiaz. I think you deserve a huge round of applause for it. My personal opinion is next time, whenever you are doing this role and when you see landscape, don't get attracted, don't bond with the nature there. Be symbiotic with the left side of the crowd as well. You are fully like, yes, Rajdeep is laughing at me. Let's not do that. Rajdeep, you should sit behind. You're distracting people. Next, we have our presiding officer, Amrit. Amrit, you have a beautiful story. Is that from mythology or is it a true story? Okay, it's a mythological story. I was completely enchanted by the way you were discussing about the characters. The visualization that you create about the characters, specifically the main heroine and the king that you're talking about, is just so touching. Not many speakers are actually able to make sure that you give that visualization and at the same time have empathy. A really, really good display of what a presiding officer's address should be, specifically with the theme that you had today. I just want to have one clarification. So in our club, we have introduction of guests, or we just say who are the guests? We don't have time. Okay. Yes, we have time for you. She's lying. Next time we'll ask you for her names. One recommendation for you and possibly we have to change certain legacy things. Whenever you have a theme meeting like Bond with Nature, we should have people wearing floral clothes, which Karnataka is the only one who's doing. So maybe have that theme fully spread around the club. Specifically on Valentine's Day, whoever wears black, you know that they are married people. So the rest of them can wear red. So but attire is also one form of theme that you can have. It's just a general suggestion. Can we have a round of applause for minutes of the meeting? Abhinav was the Mr. Cool. He came here and like, all these happened. Do you really care? And which was literally the way. And I'm like, that is not how the minutes of the meeting. So I was on the board when the minutes of the meeting are really serious. And I'm like, if Abhinav was doing that, I don't know what would have happened. So Abhinav, next time my only recommendation is that you did a really fantastic job. But when it comes to the elections, don't say they were beautiful. Just say they were in accordance with the bylaws of Toastmasters International. I know it's not cool, but sometimes it's just necessary. So just take that into the side. But for Mr. Cool, can we have a round of applause for Mr. Cool? If Mother Nature had a face today, it was our Toastmaster of the day, Karnataka. He was vibrant, he was cherubic, he was making sure he's the sunshine of the event without taking away what everybody has to do. He gave a really good insight about what he thinks about the nature. His introduction, I did not know that he grows so much plants. I thought he was only growing money plant, but apparently you do grow different kinds of plants. So thank you for doing that, Karnataka. What I liked because when you mentioned resembling of Ravi Chandran, because that is something which people don't usually do, which is not prepared but just at the spur of the moment. A really good quality as a Toastmaster of the day. Telling guests about Dr. Smitty when it started, very good job done. At the same time, making sure that you're not taking away the limelight from the speaker. Sometimes Toastmasters of the day, they actually take the limelight, and when the speaker comes, they are more demotivated than motivated. So great job done making sure that you have pumped every speaker up before they came to the stage. For that, can we have a round of applause for the For our prepared speech session, we had 3 speakers. The first speaker, Naveen, was attempting his very first speech in Toastmasters, which is a very special moment. May I request the evaluator Devashish to please share his evaluation with love.
Yes, good evening fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Good evening. Today I have the pleasure to evaluate Toastmaster Naveen. First of all, Toastmaster Naveen, congratulations for your first speech in the Toastmasters forum. The reason is that we all know the amount of courage is required for the first time to come on the stage and deliver a speech. And you did it wonderfully, confidently, and with your unique style. Congratulations to you. And regarding your speech, I didn't found it's an icebreaker speech. I found it's a level 3 or level 4, that kind of speech that you delivered here. Structure-wise, you start with a beautiful question. You start with a question and with a beautiful quote. In between, it was humorous. In between, it was emotional. You described about your family. You described about your education. You described about your career, about your wife, about your children. Everything was there. So, but to have structure well, I can say your story had perfect opening, body, and closing for an icebreaker speech. Delivery was equally excellent. You came on the center of the stage well dressed, nicely and smartly. In addition to that, the eye contact was perfect. When it was your first speech, your eye contact from the first row to the end. And the voice was reaching to everyone. There was clarity of voice. So regarding the improvement, being the icebreaker speech, I'll not suggest much, but I'll request each please attend the meetings regularly so that you can know the quality of a good speaker. So spend more time on this stage, so automatically you can achieve those quality in a shortest possible time and in an easier manner. Overall, I would say it was an excellent start for you as a Toastmaster. You achieved the objectives. Now we all know you better. All the best. Over to you.
One of the beauty of Toastmasters is it actually helps you develop a really good critical thinking skills and empathy. And I think evaluator Devashish just displayed that. Knowing where the speaker is and giving the evaluation is a very key principle of Toastmasters, and you did that job really well. So congratulations to Devashish for a really good job. Naveen, what Devashish said, I completely resonate that you just have to attain the meetings. They say that the most powerful sense that we have of learning and absorbing things in the world is through sound, and that is what you hear from people. That will develop the clarity of thought. And in the era of AI, the human connection is something which is most powerful. And by attending Toastmasters meeting, you will explore that a lot more. Congratulations on the first step. Can we have a huge round of applause for our Next, we had a yay speech by I don't know about the speaker, but somebody else in the crowd was really happy about that. May I request the evaluator Anirudh to please share the evaluation for the speech.
When I first heard our speaker come on stage and open with Yale, it was the exact opposite for me. Because doing this evaluation is completely not Yale. He was so good, and it's so tough for me to come on here and give structured feedback, but I'm nevertheless going to try. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests. Good evening. Okay, let me try and do the best that I can to evaluate an incredible and funny speech that happened here. So I'm going to break this speech down into two different parts. Things that he did extremely well and things that he could have improved upon. Let's talk about the great things that our speaker did. The first thing that I saw was the detail. I just loved how much effort and thought went into building the speech. I'd like to give a couple of examples for everything that I say. The second he came on stage, he opened the speech by engaging all of us and getting all of us to say, "Yay." That immediately raised the energy in the room and focused the attention towards himself. And if you think about it, though he used the word as "yay," what he was actually referring to was the Kannada colloquial "yay." Right? That's exactly what he was going for. So I think it was very, very smart wordplay, and I think he leveraged that word throughout the speech incredibly well. He kept anchoring back to it, which I think was great. The second thing that was incredible that I saw was his comedic timing. I'll give you a specific example, right? He said, both a tailor and a surgeon use a scissor, and then he said, this tailor, you could walk into essentially a tailor store, and he said you could work on your clothes or work on your, and he paused. That to me is intelligence, because that is how comedians also give you the time to process the joke and therefore laugh. So comedic timing, again, excellent. The third thing that I thought was great was sound, noises, and body language. There was a point where he tried to emulate an ambulance. That's hard to do, but I think he kind of nailed it. And then also, towards the end, when he spoke about his wife, he said it went from yay to AI. And that emotion of moving from A to a completely different word, that also requires thinking about how it sounds. So again, intelligence there, that was also great. The last thing was the punchlines that I thought was just excellent. The speakers deliberately thought about when and how to deliver the punchline, which I also thought was incredible. He said you could come in as a male and leave as a female. And at that point everyone started laughing, right? And he also said, maybe Taylor was both a surgeon, a multi-speciality specialist, but also a tailor. And that also evoked laughter from the audience. So those punchlines I think were incredibly well thought through. But now let's also talk about what he could have improved. This was actually harder to do. But I think there is an aspect of polish and intonation that the speaker could focus on. For example, he said, greet your friend, greet your spouse, greet on the side of the road. That was all flat, but he could have raised that. Greet your friend, greet your spouse, or greet on the side of someone on the side of the road. That kind of energy, voice variation, things like that, I think would really value the speech. All in all, an excellent job, and he clearly met the guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you, Anirudh. Very sure the Yale speech was really powerful. You have, like Anirudh has mentioned already, that you have the intellectual depth, you have the knack of way to give humor, and I've seen over the years how Vijay or Rajni, they actually delivered the humor with such a straight face that it is impossible to believe. So you're already on that journey for sure. Couple of nails from my side is when you start your speech specifically with the projector, never stand during the projection. You have to always stand somewhere else because we were trying to find you in the picture, and I really don't like to do that. So that's a general principle, not just in Toastmasters, anywhere you're doing a presentation. And there's a very important button in the presentation which not many people use, which is called B. So when you have to start a presentation, you set it up beforehand and you press B, it goes blank. And that is how projections will not happen. But a couple of technical things, but it should not take away from the fact that you are an amazing speaker. And I will remember that no matter what happens, there's a gain in my life that I will chase. So thank you for that beautiful message. Can we have a round of applause? please share his kind evaluation.
Fellow Toastmasters, General Evaluator and Ankit in particular, today you took us through a wonderful transformative journey of ABC. Fantastic. Let me evaluate also with those three letters ABC. A, amazing attention. You captured our attention right from the beginning till the end. And how did you do it? Remember, there are three aspects of storytelling: dialogues, description and drama. You had all that. The dialogue with your boss, Ankit, always be closing. The dialogue with your father. The dialogue with the auto driver and selling, Dr. Lakshmi. Fantastic. The description, the house was so small when it was raining outside, it was drizzling inside. You had drama right from the beginning. How you created that drama, moving from one place to the other was fantastic. So you captured our attention through all the elements of storytelling. What was the B? Your build up and going beyond the build up. Build up and beyond. You build up the speech. Just like a singer goes from a low note to a high note and builds a crescendo. You started off with jokes, with something which was very, very simple to understand. Then you went on to something serious, and then you built it up to the climax, which was brilliant. I could see you went beyond by converting that water, white water to black and black water to white. I don't know if you could be hired by the holy guys or whatever. But fantastic. How do you build up a speech? It was an absolute exemplar for that. You build it up and that was fantastic. Now the C are two recommendations. The context and the closure. Context. Always build up a small context with one line. When you say, I went to my boss and I said A, B, C, always be closing. Now for a person who's from a non-sales background, what does this always be closing? Always say always be closing, which means sell at any cost, whether by hook or by crook. So that will give a context to those people who are listening. When you talked about your father, I went to my daddy and said, Papa, should I sell? Give a context there. Tell, my dad was a general sales manager at a company and was respected. I asked him, because if your dad is in some other role, production or something, he cannot give you advice on sales. So build up a context. And closure. Can you build a little closure? I don't know what happened to Lakshmi. Maybe her father died. Maybe she's now working as a person, as a servant in somebody's house. So we want to know what happened to Lakshmi. What happened to you? I gave my resignation. Now I'm a trainer teaching ethical marketing. So give that closure. When you give that closure, it closes the loop. But otherwise, I think Ankit, you did a fantastic job. You built attention, you built up, you went beyond. Just a little context and closure, and your speech will go to another level. I want to tell you, ABC, always be coming to Bangalore Toastmasters.
Raise your hand if you know there is an X-Men series movie. X-Men has everybody seen? X-Men? Marvels? So there is Professor X. So X-Men has Professor X. Bangalore Toastmasters, Dr. Rajdeep. These are all men. So, again, Dr. Rajdeep and I have already covered a lot of things. My personal belief is that you really want to win the championship someday. That's what I could see. What I would recommend you looking at subtleties, that when you're delivering something which is very personal to you and it is touching, I saw that you're moving behind in body language rather than moving up. Recommendation is that when you're doing that, you go actually closer to the people, look them into the eyes. That's a better way of delivering something which is very powerful, that message you want to say. But something for you, thank you for putting an amazing show. I felt that it was absolutely a world-class speech that deserves a lot more audience than this, for sure. Thank you for your time. Can we have a round of applause? Next, we have the very important break. Thank you for giving that break, committee, and I'm very respectful of that, not usually that we have. Then we have table topic, and Chirag was the table topic master. Chirag is like, yeah, finally, how do I make sure I go to the meeting? I don't want to give a table topic speech, so I will be a table topic master. So he came here and he's like, see, my job, I give topic, you speak 3 times, you go, I go. Very simple. That was my job for the table topic today. So what is my recommendation for the current future committee? Whoever is a table topic master, always keep the last topic. That Toastmaster of the day will ask the table topic master going forward. I think that's the only way to make sure that we don't have very naughty Toastmasters who come into the table. Not saying you are. Not saying you. Your topics were very simple. We could see that a lot of people came and spoke, which is very important. You were actually targeting topics and people. That this person, this topic. But then you got stuck into something which is called experience of Toastmasters. And that is where you see that why is Vijay sitting literally at the back in each time we're talking? You look at Priyanka, best display of experience Toastmaster. Not that she cannot come from here. She heard the topic and all the way around you. And then she came and then, yeah, so good evening Toastmasters. And that's something that you have to learn, that call people closer and how to give them a topic in a different way. But I love the fact that you were enjoying the most. I hope you do get married, you have a time many married men will give you the advice of what I said, so not wrong, so can't give you advice. What I liked was that you covered up the fact that you did tell the time because people were getting lost. You observed that, and then you actually said these are the times which is required. So a really good quality that you acknowledge that something you have missed, you come back and deliver. It's a really good habit that we should continue doing that for sure. So can we have a round of applause for Chirag? Lastly, I've been asked to give you a password for those who have. Yeah, but I'll give you the password later. Or we have the tag for. We have the tag for what also. Okay, sorry. Not coming to the club often. Makes some doing things like this. I have bond with Toastmasters again. Bond with the nature. May I request Timer Nimisha to please share her report with us.
But I'm very glad to say most of the sound that I've given today, and not a lot of people overshot their time. All the prepared speakers stuck to their time limit and did not overshoot. For table topics, we had 4 Toastmasters slightly going above. For evaluators, Toastmaster Anil overshot by a small margin, and so did the distinguished Toastmaster last year. That's all. Thank you.
And I would remember the introduction that you gave when you came to introduce the timer role. Not many people do, so thank you for doing that for us. Next, we have our founder, may I request Shamans. Shamans, please share.
Keep your phone aside.
I'm happy to report that today's speakers showed great awareness. The most common filler words were are, so, but, and. The 4th speaker crossed 5 plus R's in the table topics. The speakers who used filler words so was below 5, and 1 speaker have crossed 10 plus R's, and 5 speakers only used R once. Moreover, congratulations to Amrit, Viresh, and Kit for not using any filler words. I encourage everyone to replace the filler words with purposeful pauses which create a stronger impact. Over to General.
Thank you, Sean. It's not easy to speak without fillers, so I can tell you the number of meetings I have come and I wanted to track that my name is listed there. Again, not listed. I will improve, try to improve for sure. And finally, the remainder, Shreya. May I request Shreya to share?
I don't want it to, I never wanted to, I didn't find it to be, and this is special for Toastmaster village. Alteration of gents to ladies, that's not the right one, is alteration of clothes for gents and ladies. And yeah, that's how I do today.
I was specifically keeping a note that nobody has used the word of the day, so I had to make sure that it is being used at least once in a day. Alright, so that brings me to the end of the evaluation session, and the password is 5626. How many of you don't know what I'm talking about? Raise your hands. I actually don't know what I'm talking about. I've been asked to say that say password 5626. I'm saying this. On that note, I would like to end the evaluation session, and I would like to hand it back to the charming Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Karnataka.
We had a master class on evaluation. Put your hand on the PDF also. This brings to the end of my role as a Toastmaster of the day. The parting words are, please work towards the winner tomorrow. Try being part of the solution and not the solution. Thank you.
Once more, Toastmaster of Karnataka. All right, what a lovely evening. I would say a masterful session. Can we have a big round of applause for all the speakers who came forward? A couple of announcements. Next week we have Tall Tales session. So it is going to be a lot of fun. I request all members to please attend next week's meeting. That is one. Sometime back, we had gone for the coronation, which was organized by the District 92, which our club is part of. And we have received a couple of awards. Amongst other awards, there is one award which I have been asked to speak about and share. This is Gavel Plus Award. Now, Golden Gavel is something which has been won by Toastmasters, Bangalore Toastmasters Club many a times. Our Golden Gavel Plus is a new introduction by the district, and they made it even more challenging for us. But starting from the previous term, which was headed by Toastmaster Chaitra, she took on the initiative and she took on the challenge to get the award, and both the terms have worked towards it. Those who have been part of committee, they know that there are a lot of targets that you have to meet to even get any award. To get Gavel Plus Award, there were few things which I would like to acknowledge. So, when any term starts, it starts with a planning, and it is called Club Success Plan. And Club Success Plan requires you each term for the year 2025-26. Each term you have to plan how many levels members are going to finish, and you have to, as a VP Education, that's the target they have, to make sure that members finish their levels, because we have a lot of points, a lot of targets towards that. That is one. Second is, so big round of applause for VP Education, Amrit as well as Srinivas. The other big target is MOT, which is Moments of Truth, which is conducted by the Secretary of the club. Both the terms, earlier it was our Secretary Toastmaster Shreya, and now
Toastmaster Abhinava, they both worked towards it. MOT is where you collect members' feedback, and that becomes your backbone on which you create your plan for the term. And you try to implement those feedback during your term. And I must say that both the secretaries did a fabulous job in collecting the feedback, and as a team, both the ex-coms did a great job in implementing the feedback as much as possible. So big round of applause for both of you. Our public VP PR, public relations, they have a huge target to produce a newsletter for both the terms, as well as keep the social media active and running. And it takes a lot of, it's a huge workload, a lot of time and a lot of effort. I would like to recognize Toastmaster Rashi and Toastmaster Bhavna from the current term for doing a fabulous job to meet the target. There are many other things along with, like, okay, first of all, other thing is membership. And this goes to our VP membership. They have to get the members added into the club. Each term they have a target of 8 members, and we have gone over and beyond that. As well as they have to, so that comes under membership growth. The other part is membership retention. For Gavel Plus, we had to ensure minimum of 75% of retention. And both the terms, the first term we got 78%, and this term we got almost 84%. So big round of applause to VP membership. And just to add, they also work big time to run Speechcraft. So that is another addition to their rules. For Gavel Plus, there was another big target which we had, and they called it Club Next, where as a club, how we go ahead and help the either the new clubs or any struggling club to help them and to run smoothly during their terms. We had 3 targets, in fact 4. So one target where we had to meet 3 criteria: club sponsor, club mentor, and Speechcraft coordinator. As club sponsor and club mentor, we had these targets were met by our DTN Shashank, who is also the division director. So big round of applause to him to meet I must say that DTN Shashank was a big support in meeting our Gavel Plus, Golden Gavel Plus award. Speechcraft coordinator was done by in addition to the committee, Toastmaster Jacob and Toastmaster She. They both ran Speechcraft for the 2 terms. So big round of applause. Last but not the least, there was another edition of Navigator Club. So we have to navigate a club during the entire year to ensure them, one, they run their meeting successfully, and second, to help them attain a distinguished club status. We were able to achieve that with the help of the entire club, because everyone, whenever the help was required, members came in to take up the roles to help the club run their meetings, and we also help them to, it's a Indo and MIM club which we have. They had only 8 members to start with. Currently they added 3 more, so they are 11. And they were able to run their meetings throughout the year. So big round of applause to the entire club to make that happen. Once again, again, Golden Gavel Plus goes to the entire club. Thank you everyone for your contribution. Quickly jump on to our award for today. Best Auxiliary Role Taker goes to the first time role taker, Toastmaster Nimisha. Woo! Best Role Taker Award goes to someone who should come to club very often. Distinguished Toastmaster Bawaz Chandra. Best Evaluator Award goes to Distinguished Rajdeep Manwani. So your presence is required not just to create a good atmosphere, but also I would say keep sitting in the first row. Best Table Topic Award goes to our new Distinguished Toastmaster Shashank. Best Speaker Award goes to our ex-Toastmaster, Bangalore Toastmasters Club member, Toastmaster Ankit. With that, we close our meeting for today. I request all the guests to please gather your snacks and meet Toastmaster Balakrishna, our VP membership outside the room. And yes, and the award winners, please come on stage for a picture. With that, with the new gavel, golden gavel, I close meeting number 1530.